The most powerful hook in any investment narrative is undeniable, tangible results. This script is built upon that foundational principle. It doesn't just talk about potential. It showcases a documented outcome, the transformation of a $25,000 allocation into a portfolio valued at over $75,000 within a 90-day window. This 3x in 3 months claim isn't presented as vague boasting, but as the central thesis of a detailed case study designed to educate and engage. The entire narrative architecture rests on deconstructing this achievement, making the extraordinary feel replicable through a transparent breakdown of the what, the when, and the why. Deconstructing the what, a curated asset arsenal, the portfolio, is not a scattershot collection of every trending metaverse token. It is presented as a curated arsenal, each asset selected for a specific strategic role. The script methodically walks through this lineup, establishing a hierarchy of conviction and performance. The flagship winner, Axie Infinity, positioned as the star performer and the most aggressive early call. The script highlights a 613% profit rise, emphasizing that while the dollar allocation might not have been the largest, the exponential return on investment percentage is the critical lesson. It serves as the prime example of identifying a project with fundamental strength before its most parabolic moves. The established ecosystem players, Sandbox and Decentraland, these are framed as the blue-chip bets within the virtual land. The script specifically details Sandbox's 445% growth, tying its success directly to identifiable catalysts like major venture capital funding, the SoftBank example. Decentraland's narrative is more nuanced, acknowledging recent volatility, but contextualizing it within a longer-term, still positive trend, teaching the lesson that not all holdings move in sync. The infrastructure backbone, our weave. This is a crucial element that elevates the portfolio's thesis beyond mere speculation on virtual real estate. Our weave is positioned as a foundational infrastructure play, the ADBBAs for blockchain. This inclusion demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of the metaverse stack. It's not just about the experiences, games, worlds, but the essential plumbing, decentralized storage that will enable them. It argues for long-term viability beyond hype cycles. The strategic diversification, Illuvium Engine, Audius, Polka City. These assets round out the portfolio's profile. Illuvium represents a high-value, lower circulation asset with potential for further surges on news. Engine token is used to illustrate the critical importance of timing, being positioned 60 days before its major move. Audius adds a layer of vertical diversification within the ecosystem entertainment media, and Polka City shows the strategy of adding newer, promising projects as the thesis evolves. Analyzing the when, the critical role of timing and research alignment, the script powerfully links action to analysis by demystifying entry timing. It doesn't claim to have bought at the absolute bottom, but presents a transparent and logical system. Personal entry points are explicitly tied to the release schedule of deep dive research videos on the channel. This creates a compelling, self-referential proof loop. A viewer can, in theory, go back, find the original analysis video on Axie Infinity or Sandbox, see the date it was published, and correlate it with the project's chart. This transforms the creator from a mere commentator into a participant whose research directly informs his capital allocation. It argues that the when is not about luck, but about having the conviction to act on your own completed research, making the strategy feel disciplined rather than impulsive. Articulating the why, the guiding investment thesis beyond listing assets, the script articulates a clear two-pillar investment thesis that justifies the portfolio's composition, the macro sector momentum pillar. The portfolio's growth window is explicitly tied to the broad-based explosion of the metaverse. This isn't credited to genius stock picking in a vacuum, but to correctly identifying and riding a macro wave of interest, institutional capital, and cultural shift, referencing the Facebook to Meta rebrand. This keeps the narrative grounded and credible. The institutional signal pillar. This is the most emphasized and actionable piece of the why. The script drills home the mantra, follow the money. It instructs viewers to look beyond social media hype and instead scrutinize the portfolios of elite venture capital firms like SoftBank, Andreessen Horowitz, and Lightspeed. The sandbox example is pivotal here. It wasn't just a cool game. It was a project where sophisticated, deep-pocketed investors were deploying significant capital. This pillar frames the portfolio not as a collection of gambles, but as a set of bets aligned with the due diligence and financial firepower of the world's most forward-looking institutions. Shifts the perspective from this could be big to smart money believes this will be big. The master narrative, from speculation to applied research, ultimately, the blueprint presented aims to accomplish a critical reframing. It seeks to move the viewer's mindset from seeing cryptocurrency investment as pure adrenaline-fueled speculation to viewing it as a domain for applied, diligent research. The $25 to $75 journey is the hook, but the real deliverable is the methodology. The script argues that such results are accessible not to the lucky, but to those who commit to understanding projects, tracking ecosystem development, monitoring capital flows, and synthesizing that data into a focused, conviction-based portfolio. The performance is the proof of concept for the process being described. It concludes this segment not with a boast, but with a forward-looking promise. This is a 10x portfolio in the making, setting the stage for the next act of the narrative. The ongoing strategy of active management to compound these initial gains. This creates a seamless bridge from explaining past success to promising future value, keeping the viewer invested in the ongoing story. The most significant intellectual contribution of this script lies not in what was bought, but in how and why those decisions were made. This framework transforms the portfolio from a simple list of successful picks into a replicable system for navigating the volatile, complex world of Metaverse and Web3 assets. The script meticulously unveils a three-layer decision architecture that moves viewers beyond emotional trading into a structured approach to opportunity and risk. Layer 1. Foundational signals following institutional capital and data points. The most consistently emphasized rule in the framework is the deceptively simple command, follow the money. This is presented not as a cliche, but as the primary, actionable filter for discovery. The script argues that retail investors possess an asymmetric advantage. The investment activities of major venture capital firms, hedge funds, and corporate venture arms are largely public. These entities employ teams of analysts, conduct exhaustive due diligence, and have access to insider information and deal flow. By systematically monitoring their publicly disclosed investments through their portfolio pages, SEC filings, and funding announcements, a retail investor can effectively outsource the initial, high-cost layer of research. The sandbox case study is the framework's cornerstone example. The script highlights that the project's fundamental appeal was validated when SoftBank's Vision Fund 2 led a $93 million funding round. This wasn't just news, it was a high-confidence signal. The script explains that firms like SoftBank, Andreessen Horowitz, A16s, and Lightspeed don't just bet on technologies, they bet on entire new markets and paradigms. When capital of that magnitude and sophistication flows into a specific project like Sandbox, it serves multiple purposes. One, it provides validation of the project's underlying technology and team. Two, it offers liquidity and stability for future development. And three, it creates a powerful network effect, as the VC portfolio companies often build synergies. The framework instructs viewers to use these investment events not as a cue to blindly buy, but as a hot list generator, a starting point for their own deeper project-specific research outlined in the next layers. Layer 2. Proprietary metrics and timing the sentiment amplification engine beyond external signals. The framework introduces a layer of proprietary, data-driven analysis to tackle the critical question of timing. This is where the script unveils its distinctive analytical edge through the concepts of sentiment scores and amplification scores. The framework explains this not as vague social listening, but as a quantifiable model. Sentiment likely measures the raw bullishness or bearishness of conversation around a project derived from social media, news sentiment, forum analysis. Amplification is framed as a more powerful, nuanced metric. It measures the rate of spread and the velocity of discussion, essentially tracking whether the narrative is gaining organic momentum or echoing in an echo chamber. The actionable insight, the flip, occurs when the amplification score surpasses the sentiment score. The script's historical analysis, exemplified with Sandbox's October 27th data point, posits that this crossover has frequently preceded parabolic price moves. The psychological rationale offered is that it marks a shift from static optimism to virality-driven discovery, where new buyers are rapidly entering the narrative. This metric acts as a potential leading indicator for momentum surges, moving the decision framework beyond what to buy into when. Conviction should be highest. It also provides a disciplined rule for reassessment during pullbacks, as seen when the script discusses waiting for another potential flip or a price correction to reset the model for Sandbox's next potential move. Layer 3. The strategic mindset, active patience in ecosystem context. The final layer of the framework is philosophical and strategic, governing portfolio management after the buy decision. It champions the concept of active patience. The script's memorable line, "In a bull market, patience is a strategy, not a pause," perfectly encapsulates this. It argues that in a rising sectoral tide, the greatest risk is often not volatility, but premature exit driven by fear or profit-taking on a scale that doesn't match the opportunity. Patience is active because it is not passive holding. It is the conscious decision to hold while continuously monitoring the conditions that justify the investment. This active monitoring is guided by two key filters embedded in the framework. Ecosystem vitality check. The script analyzes decentraland mana not just on its price chart, but through the lens of its ecosystem health. Is new infrastructure being built? Are compelling new projects or experiences launching on its platform? The framework teaches that the value of a foundational metaverse platform is derivative of the value being built upon it. A stagnant ecosystem is a sell signal regardless of short-term price action. Competitive momentum gauge. The framework explicitly states a sell discipline. Exit if other projects that have similarities take the wind out of their sails. This demonstrates a dynamic, relative strength approach. In the fast-evolving metaverse space, a project can be fundamentally sound but still lose out to a competitor with better execution, marketing, or partnerships. The framework mandates monitoring the competitive landscape, not just the individual asset. Synthesis. From framework to actionable discipline, the ultimate power of this decision framework is its synthesis into a repeatable workflow. Discovery, follow the money, use institutional VC portfolios to generate a high-potential watch list. Validation, deep dive research, conduct fundamental analysis on the project's tech, tokenomics team, and roadmap. Timing, signal monitoring. Watch for proprietary metric flips, amplification sentiment, or other technical momentum confirmations to inform entry points. Management, active patience. Hold with conviction, but actively monitor ecosystem growth and competitive threats as the primary sell discipline triggers. This framework does not promise infallibility. It acknowledges missed calls and the need for adjustments. However, it provides viewers with a structured intellectual toolkit, replacing confusion and impulse with a methodical process for making, managing, and exiting investment decisions in one of the most dynamic asset classes of our time. It positions the creator not as a guru with a crystal ball, but as a systematic analyst sharing a usable, transparent model. Before a single investment tip is given, the script meticulously constructs a relationship of authentic authority. It avoids the pitfall of presenting as an infallible guru, instead adopting the more powerful and relatable frame of a lead researcher or informed participant. This is achieved through deliberate linguistic and structural choices. Transparency is credibility. The script opens with immediate transparency about intent and limitation. Phrases like, "This isn't a suggestion to buy. This is a presentation of my own experience. and the recurring mandate to do your own research serve a dual purpose. Legally, they provide necessary disclaimer. Psychologically, they disarm skepticism. By admitting the limits of his advice, the host paradoxically increases his perceived trustworthiness and ethical standing. He positions himself on the same side of the table as the viewer, a savvy individual navigating a complex space, not a promoter selling a dream. First-person narrative and social proof. The consistent use of I, my portfolio, and my research makes the journey personal and tangible. This isn't a theoretical model. It's a documented case study with the host's own capital on the line. The call to check my past videos to verify entry timing is a bold stroke of social proof. It invites scrutiny, betting that the historical alignment of analysis and action will withstand examination. This transforms the content from opinion into auditable evidence, building a foundation of accountability that is rare in the space. Value-first mindset. The entire narrative is packaged as education, not prediction. The goal is framed as providing you with a research starting point and sharing our strategic thinking. This value-first promise, I will teach you how to fish, not just give you a fish, ensures the content has lasting utility beyond immediate market conditions. It attracts viewers seeking sustainable skills, not just quick tips, leading to a more dedicated and higher retention audience. The architecture of retention, pacing, curiosity, and micro-engagement with trust established, the script employs a multi-layered system to combat the viewer's greatest enemy, the click to another video. This is retention engineering in practice. The hook and payoff loop. The opening hook, I'm revealing my personal portfolio, that tripled makes an immediate high-value promise. The script then methodically delivers on that promise within the first 2-3 minutes by stating the $25 to $75 result and showing the portfolio snapshot. This critical payoff validates the viewer's decision to click and watch, fulfilling the brain's reward-seeking loop and incentivizing it to continue for more insight. Micro cliffhangers and sectional pacing. The script is deliberately segmented with implied micro cliffhangers. Before breaking to a chart, a sentence ends with, "We'll examine why in a moment." Before revealing the proprietary metrics, it teases, "Here's what our data showed." These are subtle cues that the next important piece of value is just seconds away, discouraging drop-off. The structure follows a natural rhythm. Present a claim, e.g., follow the money, show evidence. The SoftBank example. Explain the actionable takeaway. This rhythmic presentation of idea-proof application keeps the cognitive load manageable and engaging. Rhetorical questions and direct address. Strategic use of phrases like, "How did that happen?" or "What's the key lesson?" directly implants questions in the viewer's mind, creating a psychological open loop that the subsequent content is compelled to close. This transforms passive watching into an active question-answer dialogue in the viewer's head, significantly deepening engagement. The conversion funnel. Seamless CTA and community building. The final act of the script is dedicated to gracefully guiding viewers up the loyalty ladder, from a first-time watcher to a subscribed community member. Embedded value-aligned CTA. The call to action is not a jarring, tacked-on sales pitch. It is woven into the fabric of the content's value proposition. The tease for the future Djinn portfolio video is a classic content-based CTA. It doesn't ask for a subscription outright, creates anticipation for the next episode and an ongoing narrative, making subscription the logical way to not miss out. Mentioning the link below for deeper research is presented as the natural next step for a viewer who wants to apply the framework they just learned. Strategic repetition and branding. The channel name, Signals of Today, is mentioned not only in the intro-outro, but is naturally integrated into the CO description and the final CTA. This repetition aids in brand recall and position. The name itself reinforces the channel's value proposition. Timely, actionable signals. The pinned comment and community activation. The pinned comment question, if you had to add one new Metaverse project, is a genius engagement tool. It is low effort to answer, but high effort and value for the channel. It generates immediate comments, boosting the video's engagement metrics for the algorithm. crowdsources research from the community, providing the creator with new ideas and sentiment data. Fosters peer-to-peer interaction in the comments, building a sense of community. Keeps the conversation alive long after the video is published, giving it sustained relevance. Shareable sound bites and social proof, crafting concise, wisdom-packed quotes, follow the money. It always points the way, serves as built-in shareable content. Viewers clip these, use them as captions, and share them on social media, acting as micro-influencers for the channel and driving organic, trust-based traffic. In conclusion, this script is a holistic system. The trust framework makes the viewer want to listen. The retention architecture makes them want to keep listening. The conversion strategy makes them want to return and believe. It understands that on YouTube, the medium is part of the message, and it engineers every element, from the first pronoun to the final teaser, to build not just an audience for a video, but a community for a channel.